Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3942, 43. I'm not really sure about the exact number. Today's date is okay. All right. So today's date is March 17, 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 9:11 a.m. All right. Okay. So should we ask question? Okay, let's go. All right. The question is, what negative long-term consequences does this bad habit create for my future? That's a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? A couple of days ago, I read a book, Atomic Habit, really good book. Highly recommend to you to read this book. Basically, is this thing na ki, um, like I wanted to implement the value that book taught me. How do I supposed to do that? By asking question to myself and giving the honest answer. So I went to ChatGPT, kind of like I say, I read this book, I wanted to implement the value, suggest me 20 question, it suggests me that question. Okay. By the way, those questions are in the mobile phone, but while recording this thing, I cannot manipulate or anything at all. So that's why I wrote my question in here. Okay. Like this is the kind of like the question. By the way, I'm reading this book, How to Win and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Really amazing book. Highly recommend to you to read this book. Now, regarding about the question says that what negative long-term consequences of bad habit? Okay, so let's just understand. Do I have a bad habit? Yes, I have a bad habit. What is that? Masturbation. How often you does that? Well, I make sure that I have 5 days of gap, okay, of masturbation. But do you think it's a bad habit? Yeah, I think that it's a bad habit. I think I might not think it's a very weird thing. Why? Because of that na ki most of the internet are actually saying this thing that ki masturbation, like not to do masturbation, like you shouldn't supposed to do masturbation. Why? Because it just kind of like a it reduces the testosterone and things and that. But science says that if you masturbate properly or maybe like have a particular gap, then it might be really good. Like basically science says that ki 3 or 4 days of gap is very much essential, and it's very normal that if you masturbate maybe after 3 days or 4 days, it is considered as a normal from science back point of perspective. Okay. And I also believe that too. Okay. Because like like I am not the kind of like a particular person who kind of like a put into the rabbit hole that people says this thing that you do not supposed to do masturbate and things and that and that and that. I think that now it's a kind of like a somebody the normal cycle. And if you are too much, like if you are kind of like a doing it daily, or if you are kind of like somebody doing it like basically is this thing that key every second day, then this might be kind of like a very much big problem. I am kind of like making sure that 3 or 4 or 5 days of gap, okay, 4 or 5 days of gap, and if I kind of like maintain that 4 and 5 days of gap, it is considered to be a normal. Okay. So yeah, so is it bad habit? I don't really think it's a bad habit. Okay, it's a kind of like a thing that na ki it's not. Okay. But still is this thing, if I'm kind of like a looking from long point of perspective, then what might be? So let's just understand. Okay. Am I masturbating for like a like probably I masturbate like like basically is this thing na ki when I was the 18, 17, I'm not really sure, I masturbate. I'm not really sure was that masturbate or not. I just like feel like that ki if you like move your like this little bit, it felt good. Okay, so I thought that ki, okay, I do it. Okay. uh, but then I realized that it's a masturbation because of the internet and things and that. So basically it's this thing, if I'm kind of like looking at my entire masturbation cycle from like how many year, almost like like a 10, okay, 17, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So probably almost like a 13 year. Oh my god. Oh shit. I'm masturbating for last 13 year. Oh fuck. Oh, shut up. That is very heavy, dude. Like it just feels like really heavy. That fuck. 13 year I'm masturbating for. Fuck. Okay, I'm being really honest. Okay, so I just realized that I masturbate from last 13 year. My mind is like really fucked. Okay, whatever. But my frequency was very like it's not really that ki, like too much. Well, at the beginning it was kind of, I didn't really knew that. So probably at the beginning means since I was kind of like a 17 or 18, I was kind of like a doing it daily. Why? Because I don't really knew anything about that. But then I read about internet and things. At that time internet was exist, but YouTube was not exist. Like YouTube exists, but it's not really that you should supposed to be kind of like a search about masturbation on YouTube platform and things and that. Okay, yeah, like it's not. But usually I realize that ki I usually masturbate after 3 days of gap. Like a 3 days of gap is I always maintain that 3 days of gap from last at least 10 year. Okay, 10 year. I'm not really sure about the like a remaining 3 year, like a starting 3 year, because I was very much kind of like a somebody very like a greedy for that, because it kind of like a gives me pleasure. But from last decade means like that, from like basically is this thing like 2016, yeah, no, it's 2016, yeah, 2016 to till now, I make sure that I will have gap of 3 days of gap. And right now from last 2 3 years I make sure that 3 days to 4 or 5 days of gap. Sometime kind of like a something messed up happened, like stress and things like that. But still is this thing that key I make sure that key I will not gonna masturbate more than twice in a week. Okay, yeah, if I did that more than twice in a week, it was very much wrong. So I make sure that I will maintain that gap. Okay, yeah. So if I'm kind of like looking at the average point of perspective, oh my god, let's do the mathematics. Okay, yeah, let's just okay, yeah, let's just understand, let's just do the mathematics. So basically is this thing that key, take a example, is this thing that key if I masturbate twice in a day, sorry, twice in a week, not twice in a week. Okay, yeah. So twice in a week, that means 52, wait, okay, that means um, okay, so 52 into 2, right? Because 52 weeks into 2, that means 4, that means 104, means within a year I will kind of like a masturbate probably 104 times in 1 year. It's the average. Okay, yeah. So into 10 year, like I'm not counting the beginning of the 3 year because I was very much extreme. So I was counting the 10 year. So if I masturbate at 104 times in a year into 10, that means 1040 times till now. Oh shit. I masturbate 1000 times. and that's a very average number. It would be probably more than that. Probably would be like maybe 1,100. Oh shit. So I masturbate 1,100 times from last decade. Oh fuck. I feel really ashamed. Like so ashamed that, but it's not ashamed, na. It's a true. I have to be accept this thing that ki it's a true that ki yes you masturbate 1,000 times from last decade. I was like fuck. Who does that? Well, everyone does that. Dude, am I in really chaos? I'm not really sure. But looking at this number, like, see this number. Okay. See this number. This is the 52 into 2. 52 means 52 weeks. And I'm doing twice. That means 104. You probably might get like a mirror thing. Probably. I'm not really sure. Yeah. And that means like a 104 into like a 10. So that means 1040. So I just have to think about that long-term point of perspective, how much it kind of like affects. So let's just understand that I am kind of like doing this from last 13 years now. So does any kind of like a wrong thing is actually happen inside of me because of that masturbation? Till now, well, I don't. I like do my work. I am actually improve a lot, not because of the masturbation, is because of that I did a lot of things. Like I record artifact, I run 30 minutes every single day, I read a book, I can do my work, I get very nice sleep, I eat very proper food. It's not really that I'm kind of like a weak or maybe kind of like something that like not good. I am like good. Like it's not really that it's a kind of like a somebody bad. I'm pretty much good. Like I don't really have any kind of like a flex, but if I went to the gym I might have that. Okay, yeah, but I also blood donate multiple times too. So my health point of perspective, my emotional, and it's not really affected that much. Yeah, it's is yeah, but if you kind of like think about success point of perspective, then you haven't really achieved any success, na. Like you are 32 and you are kind of like still living with your parents, so probably is actually happen is because of the masturbation. Well, I don't really think that too either. Why? Because of that I am not earning any money is was also because of that I choose this path. Like basically till the age of 27 I was kind of like doing a job, I was actually earning money and things and that. But after the 27 I realized that I should supposed to be kind of like a start my own and things and that. I am not meant for doing a job and things and that. So I started kind of like doing things. I started doing YouTube and things and that. Now basically it's been almost like a 5 year and I should supposed to be start earning within the 5 year, right? But in the YouTube now I also make mistakes too. Yeah, because of that in the YouTube when I started this journey I changed the genre 3 times in 5 year. Like first I started making a content regarding about travel filmmaking. Okay, yeah. Then I realized that I cannot able to make that travel filmmaking because lot of equipments and time and travel I cannot do that thing. So I started deciding gaming. I did this for almost like a 2 year for gaming. It does not work. I realized that I am not meant for gaming, so I just quit that thing. And then I started doing kind of like some creative design, poster design, kind of like a things, storytelling and things and that. And it definitely work. Right now this piece of content that I can able to be execute very much properly and things and that. I'm doing this thing for almost like May, March, April, May, almost like basically almost 2 year. I'm kind of like doing this genre for almost like a 2 year. So yeah, and basically if I'm kind of like thinking about that, I have almost like a 1,800 900 subscriber in Instagram platform. I have almost like a 12,000 follower. But throughout this 2 year I improved my design much more well. Right now I'm using AI. I'm actually using AI to generate my poster, my design, my lot of things. Okay, so basically is this thing that ki am I didn't really achieve my goal, or I'm not really earning any money is because of the masturbation? I don't really think that. It's not, because earning money is a very different thing. Like let me tell you one thing now. If you're kind of like a thinking about that his success is kind of like a meant to be earn money, then you might be wrong, because throughout this year I improve lot of skill. I can speak very well in English. I record artifact very well. I can read a book. I can do my editing. Like basically it's this thing from throughout my life. I didn't really learn that much, but within a 5 year from 2000, from 27 when I like from 2020, from 2020 to now, I learned lot of skill, so much. So it's not really that key I didn't really achieve anything at all. I achieve a lot. Okay, so probably from money point of perspective, yes, but I don't really blame that is actually happened is because of the masturbation. No, it's not. So does masturbation is kind of like affecting my life till now? Well, I am not saying it that, because it does not. Okay, it does not. Now, one thing I might gonna say it might is that ki I'm 32 and I don't really have any girlfriend. Well, is it a wrong thing? Well, not having a girlfriend? Well, probably yes, because I think that till the age of 32 you should supposed to be have a girlfriend or at least a wife, I think, and that and that. I don't really have it, but I am also not kind of like a blame to the masturbation is because of that ki I decided to not to have or not to having that relationship. Because of that ki I decided that my future is very different. I am not kind of like a set on path. I do not kind of like a simply run on the path that someone decided. No, I should supposed to be create my own path and kind of like a walk and shine by myself and things and that and that. I do have a kind of like a future. I think about that future and things and that and that. And reason for not having a girlfriend is because of that कि I don't want to add any kind of like a responsibility, so that it kind of like a simply get away from me and my destiny. Because if I wanted to achieve my destiny, I wanted to be all in. I wanted to be full effort and things and that. I wanted to focus on my work and things and that and that. Having that a girlfriend might not be kind of like a let me focus on my work and things and that and that. At least from my point of perspective, maybe I'm completely wrong, but this is what I think at the moment. Because kind of like a taking someone responsibility and achieving goals is not gonna possible at the same time. So that's why I don't really have any girlfriend and things and that till now. Okay, and it's not because of the masturbation, definitely not. Okay, by the way, my like relationship is really good. Like a relationship is a relationship with the people. With the family it's not really that much, because obviously I'm not really earning any money. So my parents are kind of like a thinking that I am very pathetic and things and that, which is true. Okay, huh? um, but relationship with my friends are also good. Okay, yeah, but still is this thing that ki it's not actually happening is because of the masturbation. It's not. Okay, yeah. So basically what I'm thinking that this is the bad habit. I think that ki masturbation is a bad habit. So does it kind of like a somebody like a add any bad consequences? I don't really think that. Because I haven't really seen whatever the kind of like a life choices that I did is because of my inconscience, because of I wanted to and things and that. So yeah, masturbation is not kind of like somebody is this thing that key changing my things and that. But it might gonna affect in the future. How? Okay, like let's just say that like in the future I will have married or I will have a girlfriend or things and that. So in this particular like basically is this thing, masturbation is not affecting might be like in your in your like a life maybe, but it might gonna affect on relationship when you have a kind of like a real relationship with your girlfriend or things and that. So how do you supposed to be proceed? I understand that, and I have a plan for that. Okay, uh, I throughout my life I seen very bad relationship between couples. My parents are one of the good example. They are fighting a lot, things and that. And obviously I don't want that ki my relationship with my partner would not be like my parents. Definitely not. So how do I supposed to do that? I think that na ki probably kind of like adding some sort of amount of values and things and that. There is a one thing I will gonna sure that I will gonna do with with my partner. I will communicate a lot. Okay, yeah. Like right now, I'm kind of like a recording artifact and things and that, asking question to myself. I would talk with my partner a lot. Okay, yeah. And with the variable questions and things and that and that. Like basically, is this thing now? If I know that this is a kind of like a particular person that I might think that this is a future, like basically I should supposed to be spend her entire life with her, then I wanted to make sure that she is the one. And how do I supposed to know that? By asking question to her. Not kind of like an interview point of perspective. No, definitely not. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you. Oh yeah, I'm 32. Okay, yeah. I'm not really sure when will I kind of like a somebody, when will I get that particular girl and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. But let's take an example. Is this thing that I am 32, maybe till the age of 35, I might get a particular person that I might think that she is a particular person that I will spend the rest of the life. So in that particular context, it is really essential for me to kind of like get married as soon as possible because my age is 35, right? Like right now my age is 32, but in the future my age will be 35. So basically is this thing na ki like should I supposed to be kind of like a hurry for marriage? No. Like this is a kind of like a things that now I decided that ki like the life that I chose is very risky, is very unpredictable. I will not gonna choose such a job that I will kind of like a do 9 to 5 job and things and that and that. I wanted to achieve so many things in my life, and obviously that so many things are so much bigger, better, brutal things and that and that. I know I could able to be achieve that thing, but the problem is that na, ki when I try to achieve that particular thing, I might not have a time to spend with the person that I love. That will gonna happen, definitely gonna happen. So basically what when I supposed to do is that ki whenever I will gonna have a time, I will gonna spend time with her. Okay, yeah. And try to talk as much as deep connection as it possible. Now deep connection means what? Like basically I will ask so much question. Like basically what I think is that na ki let's just say she is a kind of like a particular person that I think she is my girlfriend, and I decided that ki within a year or within a kind of like a somebody I should supposed to marry her because I can't wait. I'm 35. So how do I supposed to do that? Well, basically is this thing I will like basically I will go to the kind of like a ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is AI, kind of like a say this thing that she is my girlfriend and things and that I wanted to kind of like somebody decided to marry her and things and that, but I don't want to kind of like a rush and things. So suggest me at least like 1,000 question so that I would ask her and kind of like somebody understand that key like what her kind of like expectations and things and that or maybe kind of like throughout the life and things and that. So ChatGPT kind of like recommend me 1,000 question. Same thing I kind of like somebody let her do like a same thing I tell her that ki you should supposed to do the same thing, that ki you are the kind of like a somebody particular person, you will gonna marry this particular guy, and basically is this thing that ki I wanted to marry, suggest me 1,000 questions. So she has 1,000 question about me, I have 1,000 question about her. Okay, yeah. Making sure that ki like I shouldn't supposed to be see my question, she shouldn't supposed to see my question. Like basically is this thing that ki like let her like basically she have that kind of like 1,000 question, I have that 1,000 question, and we would ask this question to each other. Okay, yeah. And 1,000 question is very much too much. Okay, yeah. And I will gonna ask her, she will gonna ask me and things and that. Now obviously this 1,000 question will not gonna happen within a kind of like a couple of days, definitely not. It takes kind of like a year or two to kind of like ask almost like a 2,000 question to each other. Okay, yeah, regarding about how much time that you have and things and that. Obviously 1,000 question is a very too much. If you think that ki 1 to 1,000 it's a very too much question, and basically when I ask this question, when she asks me question and all, I kind of like give the answer when you honestly regarding about every possible point of perspective and things and that. So when she asked me, then I realized that okay, she is that particular person, she is that particular person, she like that, she don't like that, she this and she that. Also she understand about me too, that ki what kind of like a person am I and things and that. Like basically is this thing now, before getting married, having this kind of like a conversation is very much essential. So basically I understand her a lot, she understand me a lot, and like basically after that we decided that okay, we should supposed to be kind of like a spend life together, then we proceed to the next step as a married. Okay, yeah, next step as a wedding and things like that. Okay, yeah. But like throughout these thousands of question, I realized that ki she is the not the particular person, and she also decided that ki she also realized that I was not the kind of like that particular person. Then we mutually broke up. Okay, yeah, because it's a kind of like a things that na ki like a before mistake happened, we should supposed to be kind of like a simply just understand each other and kind of like a let that thing away. Okay, yeah. So it is kind of like a far much better for me, better for her too, because I think that na ki marrying to somebody is a very important decision in your life, and I don't want to kind of like somebody do this decision as a kind of like somebody very wrong and things like that. I don't want to kind of like somebody that like cripple the rest of the life, that I just kind of like married a wrong person. I don't want it to be. So basically it's this thing that he thousand question is actually very too much to kind of like confirm that she is a kind of like that particular person or not, and she will understand I am that particular person or not. Okay, yeah. And also is this thing that thousand question is kind of like a very too much. Okay, yeah, too much. Obviously I would not kind of like recommend to you to get less. No, thousand question is very much essential, but if I kind of like talk to her, I will understand and things and that. Okay, yeah. So obviously it will cover everything now regarding about my career, sex, everything. Okay, yeah. And I'm pretty much sure like I'm not that kind of like a wrong person at all, dude. It's like that na ki I am not really kind of like an expert in relationship, definitely not. But probably is this thing na ki if I try to execute that way na, it would be much more better. Okay, yeah, because like we have a lot of legal system like a prenup and things and that, like a divorce and things. Like I don't want to kind of like put into that hassle that when I get married I should supposed to be kind of like a divorce and things like that. I don't want to kind of like put that kind of like a stamp on me that I am kind of like a divorce person. I am not. By the way, in divorce is kind of like a very much normal in throughout these days, but I don't want that. Whoever the person that I will gonna marry, I will kind of like stick with her. But still future knows what will gonna ahead and things. I'm not really sure about that. Okay, but one thing for sure that I will gonna ask question and things and that, so that I would kind of like pretty much sure about everything. Okay, yeah. What about sex? Like basically in this particular scenario you have affection in between them and you wanted to do a sex, then obviously I will gonna do a sex before the marriage too, but with the condom, right? Yeah. It's not really that you just do it. No, it's not. So if we have affection, we have kind of like wanted to do physical, yeah, we will. I'm do a condom, things like that. I will kind of like do all those things with the condom. It's not really that bad at all. Okay, yeah. Now regarding about the sex and things like that. Okay, yeah. I think that na ki there is a kind of like a very myth about the relationship. Is that ki don't talk to your wife, don't tell your things. Like basically all my friends are kind of like say this thing that ki bhai, this is your wife, you shouldn't supposed to tell your things and that. I have one of my friend who hide from his wife that what he do and things and that, and his past and things and that, and most of people does that thing. I'm not really sure why is that. Like not sure means what, that they just wanted to kind of like protect that key, like the wife might not understand and things and that, but that is completely wrong, dude. I think that na ki whoever the kind of like a person you are, your woman or your wife understand you. You just have to be honest and tell her everything. What kind of like a fuck that you did. Okay, like basically is this thing na, if you honest in your relationship, other person will gonna honest too. I think that now honesty is a very much essential. How much fuck that you did, it doesn't really matter at all ki how many people that you fuck. It's nothing really matter. It's essential that na ki be honest and talk. I think that now communication is one of the really essential thing that most of the relationship are just fade away. They just don't talk. and I don't want to that. Even after I complete the 1,000 question, I will generate another 1,000 question that I will gonna ask whenever I will get a time and things, and talk and talk and talk. Like, communication is a very much essential thing. I don't want to end up my relationship as my parents. I don't want that thing, definitely not. Because it will, like, basically is this thing na ki I wanted to achieve a lot of things in my life, and if I have a stress regarding about my relationship, how would I supposed to be achieve that thing, dude? I think that na ki it's not like a, people often kind of like a think that na ki career or relationship, if you kind of like achieve the career you might lose relationship. That is definitely not okay. Like, basically whatever the time that you will get with your wife, maybe kind of like a 1 hour, or how busy you are. Even if the Elon Musk is kind of like how busy you are, things like that, whatever the time that you have, even if the phone call, you have a phone, you can call, I will gonna talk, communicate. Okay, what should I supposed to be talk? Ask question or things, or maybe kind of like a something that we should supposed to talk, or maybe is this thing I might not in that mood or things like that, or to kind of like a talk and things and that vagara vagara, because of stress and things and that other person, my partner, would kind of like understand that ki okay, this particular person is a kind of like a things. I don't know, dude. But one thing I realized that na ki like being married with another person is a very crucial decision in your life, and I don't want to kind of like somebody do this decision as a kind of like somebody just like, yeah, no, I just want to take that decision very 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 wisely. Okay, because it's my life, and I don't want to cripple the relationship. I seen lot of example that what they went to fuck and things and that. Okay, yeah, and I don't want that. I think that na ki yeah, like, okay, does this kind of like a bad habit, this masturbation, does it kind of like affect? Well, first thing is that okay, yeah, okay, communication is a one thing. How do you supposed to build the relationship? I think I am not the particular expert and things and that, but I am a human being and I understand that communication is a one thing that I will gonna do. Sex is another thing that I will gonna do. In my society point of perspective, sex considered as a taboo. Literally, you are kind of like doing a sex with your wife, it considered as a taboo. I just fuck. Okay, yeah, like, okay, I should I tell this thing or not, I don't know. Okay, it's a very kind of like a private and things like that. What I realized that key, the people who are kind of like a somebody get in relationship, get married and things like that, now at the beginning of the year they are do a sex for a kind of like a their boy or girl, or for kind of like a their baby, right? And then after that they don't, or they do, they just not enjoy that much. And why is that thing? I think that na ki sex is a skill. Okay, yeah, and obviously is this thing, when you try it first time, you will not gonna good at that. Like, let's just say that someone tell me that can you draw a painting? How do I supposed to draw a painting? I am not able to take a brush in my hand. So obviously in the beginning I might draw kind of like a very worse. Same thing happened with the sex. Like you, if you started doing a sex, you might not perform really well, and I understand that I will not gonna perform really well too. Okay, why? Because of that at the beginning I might not be really good at, but I think that na if I be continue, if I'm being really honest about things, I want to do a sex and things and that, it would be add really much amount of value. Sex is a very essential value that provide in relationship. Okay, yeah, like people often kind of like say this thing that like people actually think that after people married they got sex, but they don't. They don't. I seen lot of example. They say that they married, but they masturbate. And I was like, what the fuck? And this is the one thing that I will not gonna do. If I have a girlfriend, I will not gonna masturbate. I make sure, but I'm not really sure, but I make sure that will not gonna do that thing. Okay, huh? Because I think that na it's a cheating probably. I think that na sex is a kind of like a part of the life, and I should supposed to be appreciate that, and I should supposed to be kind of like a something that like basically I need sex. Obviously she needs sex too. It's not really that we are both humans and we both have some sort of amount of needs. obviously is this thing that if I have kind of like a marriage with somebody and things and that, obviously I will gonna do a sex, and sex is a kind of like a very much essential. Should I stop masturbating after I get engaged or after I things? I will. If I did this thing, I might be regret a lot, but I have to be stop that thing, because after I get engaged or after I get kind of like in relationship, I should supposed to be do a sex with her, and it's not a kind of, it shouldn't supposed to be good at all. It should supposed to be consistent enough so that we both are enjoy, because sex is a skill, and skill should supposed to be improved by practice. Practice means having sex more. So yeah, am I doing it wrong? Do I like, it's not really that okay, I'm doing it wrong, dude. Okay, yeah, I am having a sex with my wife. Is it wrong? It's a kind of like a thing that this is the how the God actually made us. This is why we are actually exist. This is why I have this. I don't really consider it a taboo and things and that. But still, the every word that I say is just my empty words, because I haven't really experienced that thing. I haven't really been on relationship. I don't really know how will gonna happen. So probably thinking about that and doing about that, it might be very much different thing. But I have to understand that key. Just I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been experienced. That is true, but it's not. It doesn't really make that key. I would not gonna do that. At least I try. This is the kind of like a most I could do. Probably. All right. This is it. This is the end. Thank you.